today we are learn about like the demo sessions of what all you are going to achieve in this training, and once the training is completed, what you will be expertised in some fields of web methods. Okay, so let's start with our demo. So you once this demo is over, you will understand what is web methods and how you can uh, gain the knowledge area on web methods. Okay, so before moving to web methods, you should understand some terminology on the integration part. So one is middleware. So what we call middleware is like whenever we have different applications integrating or interacting with each other. Say, for example, a Salesforce application or an SAP application. Both are different applications running on different technologies, right? So whenever uh, they are running on individual standalone systems, whenever there need to be an integration. Okay, so yeah, so the middleware comes into picture whenever we have different applications integrating. So it acts as a software layer between the two applications. So whenever there is a requirement to integrate two applications, this middleware concept will. So the requirement for this middleware is like whenever over the past decade or so, like the past 10 years or 15 years. So we don't have that kind of flexibility to integrate heterogeneous applications. So can we mute this one training team? So we are getting some background noise. Okay, so yeah, everyone went on mute. Okay, fine. So okay, so that's how the middleware concept coming to picture. Like whenever we have heterogeneous applications, like which are not similar, which is running on different OS, different technology altogether. So their requirement comes like we need to integrate those two. Say for example, whatever example I gave, a Salesforce and SAP application, both the messaging formats or the integration formats are completely different, right? Those who are working on Salesforce, they knows like or SAP, they knows like it's all they are working on RFCs or something. Technology is dependent on certain SAP components. So whenever these two applications want to integrate, it is like in the past decade or so, it's like very difficult for them to integrate. So that's where the middleware concept come into picture, which integrates those two applications without installing or anything on the standalone systems. Okay. So whenever something goes wrong, we need to plug in the middleware, which can ease the process of message transfer between these two applications. Okay, the current market, what we have the products in the market are like we do have different middleware products in the market. So the web methods, Tibco, MuleSoft. So these are some of the products which are having. But web methods is a proven middleware product which is there from like very long time, and it is having all the platforms covered. So whenever I say a platforms covered, if it is an A to A integration, say like application to application, it is having its set of components. Just we need to plug in those components and we can do our project delivery or development or administration, whatever we have. In the same way, it's having B2B. So B2B is nothing but business to business. Say, for example, one bank want to transfer a message to another bank, which is of different standards. So it covers all the platforms. That's the reason WebMethods is the leading middleware product in the market. So and one thing, it's like all the middleware products are pretty much somewhat the concept is same, because what we do as a middleware is like just integrate two applications. So the concept is same, but what we are implementing, the products and the features are different. Okay, so that's the reason WebMethods is like it's like most of the projects, it's like largest investment banking. So over my past experience, very like it's like biggest banks or largest retail industries, they are using WebMethods. So it's we having like largest product base for WebMethods. Okay, so that is some concept about middleware. So let's go into the next slide where we can see how these applications are integrating and where the middleware exactly sits between the applications. Okay, so okay, if some now you have to understand like what is a middleware. It just acts as a software layer between the two applications. This is how the applications will be interacting. So if this middleware is not there, application A wants to connect to this all the systems like B, C, D, E, all these different systems. If it want, it is like point to contact, we have point to point. So A should connect to B, A should connect to C, like all the applications, it is having one to one point contact. So there is a problem for that. Whenever we have such kind of things, we have a problem to maintain the applications. That is the reason we have a middleware. So this middleware is a loosely coupled. It is not integrated with any of the applications. This application will be installed on certain system where it's like Windows or Linux, whatever the operating system. JS, for example, this is a different application, sits on different OS. This middleware also is like it's an installation we should do on a certain system. So there is no connection between them. Connection between like the hardware connectivity is not there. Just we need to maintain the connectivity. Like in the middleware, I need to establish one adapter. We'll get to know that that adapter will connect to application A. So if something goes wrong in the middleware or application A, that system alone can fix the problem without affecting all other systems. That's the main reason middleware will be it's like loosely coupled with all the applications, and it is not directly dependent on any of the applications if any failure happens. The single point of failure won't be there for all the applications at a time. And it is a message oriented. So everything is like in middleware, the message processing should happen, right? So for what purpose we are using middleware is like to transfer a message from one system to another system. So this is a message oriented. In when we say message oriented, how we secure the message, how we process the message, and how we read different formats of messages. These all we will see based upon the requirements. Say, for example, if a file is coming, how we need to read. If a message is coming into a QR topic, so QR topic is another terminology where we will use. So if the message is coming into that system, how we will use it. If the message is coming from a database, or if it's SAP system. So this is all we will consider in web methods as a, or any middleware as a message oriented. So this is completely message oriented. Just like in Java, we say it like everything is an objects, right? Object oriented programming language. In the same way, middleware is message oriented. Okay, the next thing is business logic layer. So if we understand mainly about a middleware, so in our class, so let's take an example of web methods. So everything is like it is properly layered or logically distributed across application. So it is having intelligent routing, transformations, the transaction processing, everything will happen within the web methods. You just need to know how to operate them. You don't need to write a code to route the systems. You don't need to write a code to completely maintain the application. Everything is there. Just you need to plug in that component, and you should do the development to maintain the logic behind the integration. So that's the main concepts of middleware. Okay. Okay, now you understand a middleware. So how it exactly fits in an industry. For example, if you are having a large IT industry, any of the IT industry, either in TCS or like it is having different domains, right? So if someone says like, okay, WebMethods is a different product, like it is a different company, and TCS is a different company. So TCS comes and says like, okay, I have different domains, like HR module is there, employee module is there, payroll module is there. So these are like, if like there will be different things, right? So if the comment says like, okay, I want a middleware to be integrated across all my modules in TCS. Okay, so if someone came and asked like such kind of requirements, you should understand the IT landscape. Means like how the organization is structured, how the my middleware will serve the purpose of in the to avoid any problems or like providing solution. So first you should understand the IT landscape. So that's what we will see. Okay. Okay. So this is a just like in a diagram representation. Just if you say like just in our example, just like any software industry is there. So whenever if it is a software industry, they are like different mode of connectivity, right? Say for example, customers will be connecting directly through internet or within the intranet. Intranet is nothing but within the organization. So internet is exposed to outside world. So this is the mode of communication, or and all the data is stored in the database. This is the data sources, say for example, Oracle or MySQL, any of the database, whatever we have. So all the data of this customer, so let's say it will be stored in this database. and the transactions. So millions of transactions will be happening. So if it is a bank, like per day, it will have millions of transactions for like the money transferring or the loans. So we have different things, right? So all these transactions you should maintain. And legacy systems. So legacy systems are nothing but very old systems. Just like better example is mainframes. So if you know the term of mainframes, it was written in somewhere around COBOL language, which is very old one. Now, if you want to remove that mainframes and if you want to substitute that with another technology, it is highly difficult. That's the reason none of the organizations like completely eliminate or completely remove the old legacy systems. They will try to procure a new technology and try to implement the technology, but old legacy systems always will be there in any of the organizations. Like they completely cannot be, because it is a business loss for them, or the business downtime will be more. So legacy systems will be there. And packaged apps. So packaged apps is like it is to the specific customers. Okay, let's say bank. So bank is having a loan department, and it is having the money lending department, right? So if it is specific to the customers, they can design certain apps. So these apps should be going to certain customers only. All customers shouldn't have this visibility of this packaged app. So like this, we have different modules in the IT industry or any banking domain or anything. So these all, if you want to integrate without dependency, for example, if you see this marking, this data source is connected to intranet, and the transactions are directly dependent on data source, and all these legacy apps, packaged apps, everything is interactive with data source. If database is down, all these will be down, right? So it is a big impact to the organization. So here we can implement our middleware. So to understand all these things, where our middleware exactly serve the purpose, we should know the IT landscape or the any of the IT. I'm just giving an example because you are all well versed with IT industries. But any retail domain, so be it a banking domain or a retail domain or any traveling industries. So very large companies, they are using web methods. Okay, so we can understand their business, and definitely we can serve the purpose of interacting with the for the message transfer between that applications, whatever the applications they have. Okay, so now you should know about the architecture of this messaging oriented middleware. Since everything is message oriented, we should know like how these messages are transferring. Okay, so there are different modes of transfer of messages, like one-to-one. Okay, I send a message, like just you can take it like like post letter or something. So if you are posting a letter to someone, it is like one-to-one content. The postman will deliver that message to the like the target party. So in the same way, it is a one-to-one. We have direct just connectivity between the applications like SAP to Salesforce. Let's say an example. So SAP system will connect in the middleware, and Salesforce also will connect to the in the middleware. It is like connectivity is done. We will just process that message. That is like it is like one-to-one messaging transfer. And we also have publish and subscribe. There is a concept, publish and subscribe. Okay, now this is like one-to-one, whatever example I have given, like the postcard. It is like from one city to another city and one person to another person, it will go. If there is a requirement like one-to-many, just say for example, is like any mobile network provider. Airtel, if you take like Airtel wants to send a message to all the users of a certain city, say like there is an outage today and the network is not available in so and so time, like 15 minutes or something. If it wants to send kind of message, so Airtel is the publisher here. Okay, so Airtel is sending a message like the network will be down. It should be received by n number of its customers, right? So in this case, WebMethods is a suitable fit. WebMethods will take that message of Airtel, and it will store in a queue or a topic. So queue is like, this is the concept, queues are like one-to-one, topics are one-to-many. Just you remember that one only. So whenever there is a requirement of one-to-many, WebMethods will store that message in a topic, and it will ensure all the messages that will be delivered to all the customers. So Airtel no need to bother. Say like, okay, Airtel will say like, okay, I sent a message to a message notification to all the customers. Tomorrow, if customer comes and asks like, okay, I didn't receive any notification and I have the network outage for 15 minutes. And if there is any complaint with the Airtel will say like, they will come and ask middleware because they already send a message. It is the middleware responsibility to send the message to all the customers. Okay, so that kind of message transferring also web methods will have that provision. And this message processing, so message processing can be happened in two ways, synchronous processing and asynchronous processing. Okay, so synchronous processing is it's in real time. Okay, it means like immediately you'll get a request and immediately you'll get a response. Asynchronous processing is not like that. If the target system is not available, we should wait for that message, and when the system is available, we should deliver that message. Okay, so that is asynchronous processing. So both kind of processing will be happening in can be provisioned in web methods. And also the message delivery, so how fast the message can be delivered, and what is the like the importance of that message. Say for example, if it is a banking any like banking letter or something, banking message, it should be delivered definitely uh, received by the customer. So in that case, this is a high confidential information, and definitely it will be stored, it will be sent to the target system. So in that case, we should ensure this one, guaranteed delivery. So we have two types, volatile and guaranteed. Volatile is fast. It's like a general communication, like mass broadcast. If you are giving, which is not much importance, then we can go for volatile messaging. Whereas guaranteed message is somewhat slow, even if the target system is not available. Okay, I am sending a letter to some person, to my friend. If my friend is not there, even if it is not there also, we should retry for certain times. Okay, tomorrow you deliver, day after tomorrow you deliver, like 3-4 times you should deliver, because this is a confidential information and definitely the target system should receive. So we should understand all these concepts based upon the message importance and also the requirement of your project requirement. You should choose either of these things, volatile and guaranteed. Okay, so whenever you are doing any development or for any message, you will get to know these concepts. So this you need to know this. Okay, and the publish and subscribe model, this is like very heart and core of the message transferring. Publish and subscribe, whatever example I have given, the Airtel to its customers, Airtel is publishing, and the subscribers are like n number, 1-to-1 also the publish and subscribe is there, 1-to-many also we have. So this is the multiple subscriber. Whenever we have a multiple subscriber, every subscriber will get a copy of the message. Okay, if we have 10 subscribers, first we receive a message, it will be sent to the first customer, second customer, third customer, like that we will receive like till 9th customer. If it receives, if the 10th customer is not available also, it will wait, if it will keep the copy of the message in the queue. Once the 10th customer is available, it will deliver the message, and then only it will discard the message in web methods. Okay, so this all it's like technology concepts or development concepts you should understand before going to the web methods. Okay, so next is evaluation of integration. So whatever we discussed in the earlier slides, it's like a diagrammatic representation of that alone. So earlier, when we have large applications in an organization, everything is like interlinked. So as I said, if the application A wants to interact with B, C, D, E, so they have a direct contact with the application. So if application A is down, say for example, the hardware failure or the network connectivity is like it was lost. So all these A, B, C, D, E applications will have an effect on that, right? So this to avoid this kind of cumbersome or the to avoid the problems with the network failure or the application downtime, we came with the middleware concept. So in this middleware concept, we have like the message transfers can be happening any of these things, the flat files, the screen scrapping, or the API based. So this is like the like message transferring things. APIs are like nothing but web services, which are like mostly used nowadays. So these are we can do in the web methods. Okay, so yeah, so this is an so middleware again, web methods, and you go for web methods. So this is an ESB we called enterprise service bus. So this enterprise service bus the architecture of web methods. If someone asks like, what is the architecture or the behind the web methods, we can say like ESB structure, and it will be sits in between the applications, and it is a platform agnostic. So middleware is like platform agnostic. It means like it is not dependent to any of these applications. If anything goes down also, it won't have any effect on this middleware. And standards based, this ESB, it's having its own standards, how to transfer the messages, how to maintain the connectivity. It is having its own standards. It is not dependent on anything, and it is a distributed, so it is distributed to all the applications. Okay, so far you have I mean like get a knowledge on the middleware and how an organization works. Now we go deep into the web methods. Okay, so web methods is a Java based integration software suite. So it is a suite. When we call it as a suite, it's like it is a mixture of components. It is having n number of components where you need to know like which component you should use to deliver your project requirement. So it is a Java based integration software. So all the backend code, for example, if I installed one web methods application server, the backend, all the logic, everything is like it is a based on Java, and you don't need to worry like you need to develop a Java code or something, because you don't use any Java in web methods. It is having its own proprietary language. We call it as a flow language. Okay, whatever the backend, the product was developed in Java, but you don't use. Okay, that's you need to understand. And this would having different runtime components and development tools. So you should, for example, if you are developing anything in web methods, there is a component called as designer, Eclipse, you know, right? IDE. So the Eclipse you should just install, and you can develop on these things. So, and if you want to do any publish and subscribe, like that requirement, if it comes in your project, publish and subscribe, then you should install the messaging provider component. So this suite is having different components. So based upon your requirement and project requirements, you should install that particular component only. And everything is licensed, you know, in web methods. You don't get anything of free of cost. For everything you should pay. So whatever your project requires, only that components you will install. And this web methods is mainly targeted, as I said, it's a leading product in the market. It mainly targets two kind of markets, EAI and B2B. So enterprise application. So enterprise application example is like, just you can take like any organization like TCS, I said, right? Within that organization, we can integrate all the entire enterprise. We can integrate the domains and everything. Whereas business to business market, it's like business to business banking. Okay, now for example, say HDFC Bank want to send any close of the business files to ICICI, end of the transaction, the check depositing or anything. So in that we call it as business to business. So business to business means both modules or the both applications are on the same business domain. Whereas EAI doesn't depend on the business, you know, like it is having the HR module is completely independent of the payroll, right? So both also can be integrated. That we call it as enterprise application integration, whereas business to business is like it is on the certain business it is running. Okay, so it mainly targets these two. And WebMethods is the leading vendor of for all the B2B e-commerce and e-commerce industries. And the main thing is like it offers very fast and cost-effective deployment and real-time exchange of business data over the internet. So real-time transactions we have. If someone asks like why we choose only web methods, because it is, as I said, it is already having a very large product base. If you go for any other of the other integration tools like MuleSoft or any of the TIBCO, so it doesn't serve all the purpose what web methods does. MuleSoft is latest one, which nowadays some of the people are going to that, but it doesn't have all the things of provisioning concept for the industries. That's the reason everyone will first choice is web methods. So web methods, when it was started, so it was founded in 1996 by and it was called as WebMethods Incorporation at that time. Later it was acquired by Software AG, and now we call it Software AG Web Methods. This Software AG is an organization. It acquired Web Methods, so now we call it Software AG Web Methods. The main competitors what we have in for web methods are like the TIBCO, MuleSoft, so IBM, MTC. So these are some of the like competitors we have in the market. Okay, so as I said earlier, this method still follow bus architecture, enterprise service bus. So if you see this diagram, this is a message bus. So if you, it can connect to all the components. When we say bus, just you can assume the normal bus or something. These are like all the seat compartments we have. So these seat compartments can be integrated with all the other things using this message bus. So the diagrammatic representation is like a bus architecture. That's the reason they gave the name as ESB. So these components can be of the any of the things. So whatever we have discussed, the CRM or mainframe applications, if you want to connect, there should be an adapter. So this is again adapter installation concept. In the product suite, we have adapter also, one adapter component. We should install that to connect to this any of these applications. So, and it is a real-time message transport. Uh, as we discussed, we have synchronous and asynchronous processing, right? So real-time message transfers, it's having its provisions. And next is adapters. So adapter, if you want to connect to a database, so we should have JDBase adapter. If you want to connect to an SAP system, you should have SAP adapter. So these are all provided by the web methods. Whenever the requirement comes, you should just plug in and do your development or integration. The main characteristics of this bus architecture is like minimize point-to-point integration. It doesn't have direct contact with the applications. Only the message bus will be holding as an intermediary for all these applications. So it will minimize the point-to-point integration. And complex administration and management. It avoids complex administration and management, because if something failure occurs in any of these applications, you don't need to wait for that application to come up, because these all the remaining applications can still transfer the messages. And better scalability and performance. Okay, say for example, now we have 100 transactions. When the business grows, we have millions of records of transactions, right? So at that time, the messaging bus can be easily scaled up by procuring new integration server or new application server. You can increase the scalability of the product, so that it will increase the performance of the message transactions. So these are the some of the characteristics of the bus architecture. Okay, so this is how the web methods product suite looks. You no need to know all the components, because whenever someone want to know web methods or learn web methods, you should concentrate on only on the certain components. Like we do, see, in any of the software industry, we do have different roles: development, developer, or next is tester, who can test the integration, or administrator. These are the main things. So developer means he will develop a piece of code. Administrator means he is responsible, he or she is responsible for maintaining the product or the application, to bring up the application or to install the application. So these are all administrator work. Tester means he need to test your piece of code, and with the performance testing or unit testing, or so we have different testings, right? So based upon the different roles, what you are interested or what you want to learn on web methods, only that area you should concentrate. There are different components in web methods, but you don't need to know all the things. That's what I want to say. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. uh, in web methods, we call the server. So web methods is an product, right? When we installed a web methods in our system, we call that server as integration server. You just know it, you just need to know this term. Integration server is like heart of the web methods, where you can process all the transactions, just like a Tomcat server, right, for the Java. So in the same way, for the web methods, we call it as an integration server. This integration server is like heart, as I said. All the other components, whatever you have, all will be part of this integration server only. For example, if you want to connect to an JDBC application. Let's take this is a JDBC application. If you want to connect to this JDBC, there should be an adapter in the integration server. Using that adapter, you can connect to the database. And next thing is these are the development tools. So we have developer when someone is developing any code, we need to install that particular development tool. We call it as a designer. So using that designer, you will develop a code, and again this designer will connect to this integration server only. Next is trading networks. So trading networks is different, completely altogether different domain, where we have B2B. Whenever business to business transactions we have, we will go with trading networks. And next is WebMethods database. So whenever you install any of the component, it should have some database, right? Because the database is like whatever the transactions or the logs that are having, it should store in some file system or something, or the database tables. So the integration server will connect to the database also. And this is the messaging provider broker. So whenever we have publish and subscribe concepts, you should use this broker concept to transfer the messages from one system to another system. As I said, asynchronous and asynchronous, right? So asynchronous is the use case for this broker. If this integration service is not available also, this broker will hold the messages, and whenever this message in our integration service is up, we can this broker will send the message, and finally once it deliver to all the target systems, then only the message will be discarded. Okay, these are the concepts. Whatever we discussed, I'm just showing in the component wise. And for the monitoring purpose, we have MWS. We call it as a my web method server. That is also one component in integration server, where we can see the transactions for these messaging providers. Okay, so this is pretty much on the web methods components what you will learn. Not all the things, whatever required for enterprise application integrations, we will be installing the components, and we will learn in depth on that. Okay, so yeah, so far you have learned whatever the web methods and middleware thing is like. So the main training objectives for this class is like, what we are going to teach in this is like product installation. So whatever how web methods should be installed, and how you need to create an image file, or how you should get a free license for that. Because web methods, as I said, it's a license based, right? So everything is cost involved. For learning purpose, we have a free license. It will be having for 30 days, I think 30 to 60 days. You have that component can be installed, and you can practice. So that all we will be discussing in this installation. And designer is something, it's a development tool. Using this designer only, you'll develop code. And document types. So everything is message oriented, I said, right? So the messages will store in documents. So there are different documents, XML files, uh, like Excels, CSV files. So all these files, comma separated files, we have n number of document types. So we will see all these use cases, and how we will transform that into web methods, and we will send to target system. That also will learn. And next is flow services. So as I said, though web methods is built on Java language, it won't use any Java code. So we call the language what we use in web methods as flow language. That's the reason we call it as a flow service. So everything what we developed in web methods is a flow service. It's just a Java service we call, right, in Java language. So in the same way, web methods, we call it as a flow service. So in this flow service, you will use all the steps for this document parsing, or any of the development what you do, you will write in flow service. And next is mapping. This is also very much important. Mapping is like, if you want to map two variables, like initiate a variable or map any two variables, you should know this mapping thing, where we will be learning in the web how to do the mapping, and how to do implicit mapping, explicit mapping. So these all different concepts we have, that all we will learn. And next is error handling. So error handling also is like very much required in any of the development. So if you write a piece of code, if it went wrong, or if it throws any exception, how you will handle. So all these try catch. right? In the catch block, we will execute the error handling. That all we will learn. And next is flat file processing. This is also one of the main things for web methods or any of the middleware, because file processing you should know. If someone give me a file, I need to read that file and send to target system, right? When I say I is a middleware, so middleware need to read that message and transform to target system. So web methods should understand what is a flat file, what is a file. So that all we will be learning. And next important concept is SOAP and REST. This is very much now all the organizations are moving to API based. There are no files, something like if it is like simply you can call an API endpoint. That is mostly we will use in the current all the industries. So we will learn about SOAP and REST both, how to create, how to consume a REST API. There are different concepts in SOAP and REST, so we will learn in detail on that. And whatever I said, everything is it's a real-time example, so we'll provide. So when I say real-time, we'll take a use case, and based upon that use case, you will develop a piece of code. So even if you get into any projects also, it will be helpful how the requirement will be taken and how you will develop everything. So that all we will cover in this classes. And next is API gateway. This is also is like a latest component that were coming in web methods that we will learn. So API gateway will host these APIs. If anyone wants to call web methods API, they should come through this API gateway for extra security. So to enable additional security, like authentication or OAuth authentication we call, or API keys we call. So if they provide with that key, if they come with that key only, like a pin only, OTP you can say. So if someone want to deliver a courier or something, they will ask for OTP, right? Unless you have an OTP, the product won't be delivered. In the same way, to enable additional security, we'll go with API gateway. And next is adapters. So we will take the use case of database. As I said, we have different adapters, Salesforce, SAP. Like if you want to connect to any of the adapters, you need to install that component. In our class, we will use JDBase adapters so that you will get to know all the database operations, how you need to perform. Once you know adapter concept, all other integrations with any adapter is pretty much same. Next is publish and subscribe. So broker or these are the messaging providers. So we will cover that concept also. And Java services also. Though I said like we won't use any Java service in the web methods, there might be some use case like which cannot be done in web methods flow service, like a small example like multi concatenation or anything writing into a file. Okay, so these all like small operations, whatever we cannot do in flow service, you can do in Java service also. In web methods, you can write any piece of code, in Java language, in C language, anything you can write. If you are expertise in C, you can write in web methods also. So we will learn like simple Java service, how we need to write in web methods. That also we'll see. And next is deployer. Once you write your code, how you will deploy to higher environments. That concept we will see. So scheduler creation, file polling creation. So these are some of the concepts, like how we will schedule your service, like a batch job. If you want to run any service daily, if you want to run any service like every week, so you need to schedule that service, right? Just like a cron job. If you are know about batch job scheduling, you will understand these things. So in web methods, we do have concepts of all these things. We will give a demo on this also. We will do so for everything. We have a theory class and followed by a practical class. Okay, so we'll practice how we will implement this. And next is connectivity, SFTP. So if you want to connect to any of the third system using SFTP users, so that connector also will show. And finally, MWS monitoring. As I said, the monitoring can be happened in MWS for the message transactions. So we will teach about that as well. And finally, any interview questions. So since the main outcome of this training is like once this training over, you should go and give some interviews or something, right? So we will discuss on the interview questions. We will be providing some of the interview questions and documents to you, so then you can practice and get well best when you go for any interviews. Okay. Yeah, so that's it from my side. So these are the things what we will cover in the coming classes. So if you have any doubts, you can ask.
Suresh, will you not cover this trading networks and BPM?
No, not in this class. So these are like different things. So whatever we have is completely on the enterprise application integration only. These are like mostly widely used. We will take the consideration for all the users at once. So BPM and trading networks are different, completely different modules. It is like it will take a 15 days or 20 days only to teach you that concept. If you want to know basics, I can give a basic like 1-2 classes for that, but not completely on any of the things BPM or trading networks.
Okay. So Suresh, what is the duration of this course?
So duration of this course is like we will take max 22 hours, 20 to 22 hours of training classes. And it will be, is that what you are asking? Duration only, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so 20 to 22 hours we will take, yeah.
Okay. So earlier, one of us asking about trading networks B2B. So can we add this, or can we learn basic things in this module while we learn?
Your voice is breaking. I'm not getting exactly. Yeah.
Asking about the trading part, because
Okay.
the trading yeah, this one, yes. So
Okay,
can
see,
we?
trading networks is again licensed thing, so I cannot show you the exact practical things, but I can show you how the trading networks works. So I can provide you some screenshots and like how a trading networks, how a partner profiles will be created. You will get all the theory concepts if that is okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I think, yeah, it's not a mandate. We learn Java and all. Like there's no coding and all. So if we do not have any knowledge about Java, so if I'm asking about any example, like if some person don't have any knowledge about Java, so they can take this training and learn how to work the web method.
Yeah. So it is not anything dependent on Java. So even if not in Java, if you don't know any of the technology expertise also, you can
Mhm.
learn web methods, because it is simply a flow language we call it. Is like everything will be there on the panel. You need to know like what, for example, I am just giving in Java, you need to write an if condition. So for that if condition and looping, if you want to do any loop on certain list, you need to know like for loop, while loop, like so many things will be there, right? So in web methods you don't have that much complex structures or something. Just there is one step we call loop. It's a step, you need to use that one only, and everything is like drag and drop. You don't need to write anything on your own, just drag and drop from the palette and you can use that. So anyone can learn these web methods. Yeah.
Yeah, my question also same means no need to learn the Java and all, na? Because
No, yeah, no prerequisite requires for any of this training. Yeah.
okay, but if we are using branch if else condition, then that concept how can we implement then without?
See, as I said, in this flow services, in flow
Mhm.
services we have 9 steps.
Hmm.
When we are giving this class, you will get to know, but since you asked, I will say. So in flow steps we have branch and loop. So these are some of the steps in flow service. So if you use a branch, what is a branch? It is a substitute for if only in web methods. So instead of if, we will use this only. So what is a if? If is like condition based, right? If a equals to b, then process, right? Or else throw error. So this is the logic, basic logic for any of the if condition. So this base same concept you will use in branch. So whenever this branch is there, you don't need to write that curly brackets, everything. So just you need to drag and drop that branch from the palette, and this a equals to b, just you can write in the branch condition. So yeah, so everything will be like the programming language concepts, the try catch block or the if condition, or a looping or a list of variables. Everything we can do in web methods, but you no need to know any of the technology, Java or anything.
Okay, like a switch case also means.
Yeah, switch case, everything. See, in web methods we have, sorry, in Java we have this if and switch and everything, right? In web methods we don't have that much complicated. In branch itself, you can give that switch case itself. So we learn all these things.
Means only we are using here two cases, na? One is a switch case and one is a if else. Means like
Right. Right. So in
not
web methods we don't
than
have that. In branch itself we can make that. Okay. So
And how
any
many
other?
days it will take? Like duration, same means whatever he asked. One more guy.
Yeah. See, it will max. See, whatever I am giving, the training, everything is like we will cover in depth on every of all these concepts except the trading networks, because we don't have this license for this training, and it's completely B2B concept. So if
But
someone asks, yeah,
without trading network, actually the means company are not allowed to means like it's
no,
okay.
no,
But
it's not like
after
that. If you want,
when we
we
are
can give, but it
entering
is
in
like a
the
separate
company,
training.
when we are entering the company, then we have to learn that means so if they are using trading network and all. So that's
No, it's not the case, See, whenever you say any organization, it won't work on all the things. So these are the different domains in any of the organization, EAI. EAI is like enterprise application, B2B. So if you want to go for EAI project, which they don't know anything about concept I'm saying. So you just need to know IS, integration server alone. So if any organization using B2B, then they should know TN. If they are using any BPM, means like process modeling, so then only they will use BPM. If it is UI, so then they should know CAF. So it is not mandatory like all the organizations will use all the things. It is not.
okay.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm saying. So
What
if you
about
are
the
getting.
testing?
Mhm.
Testing means in web method. What about the testing? Which tools they are using?
So in web methods, we don't have any, it's like, we do have WM suite and all, it is all license based. WM, I didn't remember, but we do have WM test one tool will be there. This is all unit framework, I think. WM unit framework.
Okay.
Okay, but unit testing and everything will cover as per our unit test case only, like manual testing, how we will do that use cases we will use.
Okay, it means tester also required, na here?
See, testing, when I say, for example, if you want to test a flow service, or if you want to test API, so how you will do API? It's having its own API tools, so SOAP UI or Postman for REST API. So you should know these two things, how to use this. So we will give that class also, how we will test this API. If you want to test your flow service in web methods itself, we have debugging a flow service. Like every step, if it is working or not, you can see, or you can run your code within the designer itself and you can see, or you can call it from the browser. So you have a number of ways to test your flow service or API. So we'll cover that things.
Okay. Yeah, soap and rest. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we go for this SOAP and REST, we will cover these SOAP UI and Postman as well. Okay, yeah. So you asked, right? The training class will be max 20 hours, 20 to 20 hours, 20 to 22. So it is a daily 1 hour session. So if you are if you are stuck with any concept or something, then we may extend. Though we said 1 hour daily, we may go 1.5 hour or 2 hours also, based upon our availability and everything. And Monday to Friday we will have the class, and every class will be given like in practical session. The theory will be provided, and we will be providing you documents also. So if I teach you today on the flow service, I will be preparing a slide for you for each of the steps what we are learning. And once the class is over, we'll distribute that documents to you for your further I mean, like requirements, if you want to go through any of the steps. Okay. So, and the practical session also will be giving. We will show directly like how we will implement all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, it means like 1 month, correct?
Yeah, 1 month.
Okay.
Okay.
But,
And
during practical or during the training session, don't take like A plus B, like means small examples, because that in the YouTube also it is present, but it is not, I think, used in the your real time. It's okay for the basic one, it's okay, but I don't think so. Okay, it is used in the real environment.
right. So as I said, everything is real. See, I am working in the project industry for like project delivery for almost 11 years, I said, right? So whatever examples I will be providing, it's all real-time examples only. Say, for example, as I said, given examples also, like if any file is transferring from one bank to another bank, as I said, it is having different records, so employee record or the loan record. So we will be giving that all use cases, in case if you are not okay with that example, whatever, you can ask for a new thing. So okay, we can also accommodate all these things when we are going for that thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So okay, Suresh. We will work on a real project like in during training.
yeah, right. So it's not like a one project, so when we say a project, that project can have uh, file transfer. So file
Mm-hmm.
transfer, we can take it like one project.
Okay.
And next, API is a different project. So everything, because it's a product suite, right? You have n number of delivery models. So all these
Mm-hmm.
can be, we don't call it as a one project. Based upon the requirement, it is a multiple projects. Okay, for everything
Yeah,
we'll take a real time example. Yeah,
yeah. We are asking the same real time cases. We work on that.
right, exactly.
Okay, so there is a two thing in method like software designer where we can develop the code and like testing the code and use the Java service, utility service and all.
Mhm.
And there is a other thing in web method integration server screen where we can manage the like lessons key and check the servers.
Right, right.
Like we work on a both screen in during this training, or we work on a designer or a integration
Yeah,
server.
so we will learn on both screens. So I just add that as well, because
Mhm.
everything, whatever you develop, it will be stored in integration server only.
Yes.
So we will like we will be goes hands on hand with both the things, because once you develop the code, where it will be storing and everything, I should store, right? So I should
Mhm.
show, right? So we will learn mainly on these two things only, designer and
Yeah,
integration server also.
yeah. Why I'm asking this because Suresh, I am already working in web method.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's
in
good. Yeah,
yeah, so as a developer, I'm working here. So, but a few things I don't know how to work like JDBC adapter and so on.
yeah,
So it's mandate for us, and like these things are using in our projects in our company also. And we have
right,
received multiple calls for the interview, and they are asking about JDBC and like B2B and API.
right.
So it's a
Yeah,
very
so
demandable tool.
right, exactly. We will cover all these things, see, because you also into web methods, so you know some of the concepts. So whenever we are giving the training, if something is like missed or we can add on, definitely you can give your inputs. That is one thing. And
Okay.
also, yeah, so and also the thing is like, it's not like completely I'm concentrating as a developer. So
Okay.
if a developer means like if he knows about designer, that is like okay for developer. But we
Okay.
don't cover only on the designer part. We will go to the integration server, and also, as you said, we will cover some administration concepts also, which are required for developer. Because if it is a
Yes.
JDBC adapter, you need to know how to connect to the JDBC adapter, right?
Yeah.
So that administration concepts, the license keys,
Mhm.
and how to install certificates,
Install. Yes.
yeah, and how to like logs, monitoring, everything like basic things which are required for developer. We will definitely go through during the training. Yeah.
Yeah, like there are two part. One is administrator and second is developer.
But see, this training is basically purely for developer, and we do
Okay.
cover administration also to some extents which are required for developer.
Okay. Yeah, a kind of basic things of administration.
Right. See, whenever you know installation, that is an administration activity. So you will cover most of the concepts, and we install the component only. So once you install the component, what all we maintain
Mm-hmm.
to maintain the application, that is an administration activity, right? So we'll cover the things.
Okay.
When you are doing a development, if your integration service down, so what you should do and what you should check, like those are
Okay.
things you should know as a developer. So we'll cover those things.
Okay, Suresh, in meanwhile, if we find any if we miss any topic which we are using, or which
Mhm.
topic like useful for us, so can we add during training those topics if we
Yeah,
find any?
yeah, definitely we can add. So, but see, based upon the time, whatever
Mhm.
we agreed, we will go as per this sequence. Like,
Okay.
for example, yeah. So, if you want to add anything, if the time permits, or if you want to learn more things, so based upon that things, you can
Mhm.
add in the last. Okay, so just to not
Okay.
deviate,
Okay.
because since you are